You're a commuter. You and everybody else are tuned out on this smoky, fogged Pittsburgh, Ohio morning, because it's the same as yesterday for you, and it'll be the same tomorrow. There's an email you're dreading opening. A coworker beef from yesterday is still stewing. Your fiancé is cross about something, but they're not talking. You avoid the same potholes and no longer lower the radio as it statics through the tunnels. Then, passing obnoxiously on your right, an offensively square bourbon bottle car phlegm coughs into view. It looks like it drove straight out of a wrecking yard. Rust is eroding the wheel wells, and the wheels themselves don't match. The side mirrors, if there are any, are zip-tied or taped on. A trail of white-black smoke trails from the bobbing tailpipes. You could tell it had an honest life once. Maybe a married life, where it carried Bible song-singing children, harmonizing in the luxury seats. The once luxury seats. Now, there's a Lovecraftian hood ornament welded to the front, or a vision-obstructing air scoop. Behind the wheel is a wild-haired woman, or a crazy bearded man, or a being of unknown phylum or genus. All the passengers of this murderous car have warlike smiles, and they all look like they smell. As the car passes you, you hear its sickly engine clattering warnings of near failure. A combination of spun bearings, bending valves, exhaust manifold gasket leaks, squealing belts, grinding alternators, scraping water pump vanes, and every now and then an afterfire spits a flame straight out the straight-piped exhaust. Doesn't the driver care? Why are there big radio antennas on the roof? Who are they talking to? Why is there luggage strapped to the roof, and why are there boxes in the back seats? Where are they driving to? What are they running from? Why are there race numbers on the side? Is this a race? Why are there slogans on the car? Is this a political statement? Are these criminals? The savage car then aims for a pothole, slamming worn struts home and whipping unsecured exhaust pipes against 70-mile-per-hour asphalt, splashing sparks, and the driver raises a fist out the window. You have just witnessed the Lemons Rally. We took part in the Lemons Rally 2019 in a Yugo. Our Yugo was called the Adidas Yugo, and it was unsuited to this American task. Unsuited for these American roads. The Yugo GV was, at the time of its release, the cheapest car in America. It sold, new, for a hair under $4,000 in 1988. That's $8,571 in 2019. The radio was an option. Air conditioning was an option. The passenger side mirror, not yet required. Engine displacement, 1.1 liters. Fuel delivery, carburation. Horsepower, 52 at 5,200 RPM. Tachometer, none. Transmission, 4-speed. Overdrive, none. Explaining the Lemons Rally to looky-loos is always a fool's errand. The explanation never makes sense to bystanders. What are you doing? Oh, great. A what he is doing man. He's living in his insular western Pennsylvanian world, and all evening and all night strange vehicles are creaking into the field across the road from his house. They're devilish cars, and limos, and ne'er-do-well trucks, and old sports cars that rattle like prison bars and smoke like the youth. They crowded around a 1/16th scale replica of the space shuttle built by Old Man Percussion Cap in the Second Age. So what he is doing man approached, and we gave our explanations. The first thing I did when this guy came up is I just held up my hands and I said, jokingly, "Don't shoot." You know, there's always the possibility. "What are you doing? What's all this about?" You know, he was acting tough a little bit, raising his shoulders, lowering his forehead. This guy. I get it. I mean, he lives across the street. "Hi, my name's Brian. I work partially for Road and Track magazine. I do a number of publications online. This is the Lemons Rally. It's not a race. It's a cross-country road trip where we stop at local oddities, you know, wonderful things like this. It's off the beaten path. It's not a race. It's not a race. And we just do this for fun." "So what's this all about?" Ugh, I thought in my head, I just explained it. But of course, it doesn't make sense. The object of this challenge is to complete this road trip in the most inappropriate cars you can find. Right here we have a limo that was bought from a funeral home. This is an old Porsche sports car. And over here we have a car made in the former Yugoslavia.
"Is this for money?"
Nope.
"What do you get if you win?"
Nothing. Nope, just bragging rights. The man looked down at the dirt for guidance. He heard me say the words, but his cropped military haircut couldn't understand. He looked at the ground as if the dirt could translate.
"Where are you going?"
"Barber Motorsports Park, Leeds, Alabama." And he looked back at the dirt for guidance, but it was still brown.
"You guys are fucking crazy,"
he said. "Yes, sir," I said, placating him. The buzz-cut man was disturbed enough, and he got back into his Heartbeat of America pickup truck and drove back to his blessed house. And he was so disturbed he executed 20 practice salutes to purge himself of any latent creativity. So we pressed on through January 2019's polar vortex. Outside temperature was 5 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 15 degrees Celsius. My needs on this trip were reduced to, is the heater working, and what's our fuel supply? Are there any new noises coming from the car? Occasionally, I would glance over Justin Lose's shoulder to check the water temperature for myself. Long highway stints made me worry. The Yugo GV's comfortable cruising speed was 50 miles per hour in 1988, and here we are, in 2019, asking it to sustain 70 miles an hour for hours. My earplugs went in. Our engine sounded like a Cessna 150 trying to gain altitude to 5,000 feet. We needed to preserve the car, but I wanted to stay with the pack, stay with the other rallyists, who were quickly becoming my family. When we would meet at checkpoints or at the day end's hotel bar, I felt comfortable. I felt security. In them, I felt companionship. We were all dirty weirdos, broken and humble. Most of the cars ran poorly, most bled oil. Our Yugo was one of the better cars. All we had to do was refill the gearbox every 600 miles. We knew when the gearbox was running low because the gear shifter felt clacky and loose. And into the night we drove. And this Yugoslavian car became our home and the third member of our team. I stopped noticing the hard seats, the buzzing windows, the mushy brakes, and the worn steering rack bushings. This Yugo was our life raft to the next hotel. Any of the car's flaws were minimalized because the vehicle was a means to an end. Forward, forward, forward arrow. This vehicle, this tiny little cheap import, is keeping us from freezing. I live a YouTube life. At any moment, I can walk away from anything. Bad bars, confrontational people. I even say no to family obligations. Long trips because, if you don't come to Florida for such and such goat holiday, Aunt Cough Drops will be sad. Nope. I can peace out from any undesirable environment and still be employed. But I can't skip out on the Lemons Rally. We are a mighty train of uncomfort and reassurance. During the rally, my thoughts clarified. My only job was to keep the Yugo healthy and pointed at the horizon. And even when I was a passenger, that feeling remained, that feeling of responsibility remained. Ooh, don't move around too much in my seat. Don't jostle the Yugo. My brain was defragging. I wasn't thinking about how I'm going to screw up the next week's OkCupid date. I wasn't thinking about my apartment's carpet that doesn't seem to come clean. I wasn't dwelling on my patellofemoral, always creaking all the time. All order came. These rallyists are my friends. It's been a while since I felt like I was part of a pack exploring new lands. We had supplies, and we had our ships, and we were living like we're in a RPG. We are self-determination. We are self-direction. We are free will. The Lemons Rally, retreat from Moscow, was and is next year a 2,000-mile fist pump for the front man of free will.